Honorable Roni, I think you are hearing me. This one, we don't want to see it. People are talking about, they are talking about forcing a learner to stay in an uncomfortable position. You remember when we started with this thing, corporal punishment, there was alternate to corporal punishment. Where in the alternate of corporal punishment, you indicated that a learner can be detained. When a learner is detained, is that learner comfortable? So please, we don't want to see this one. But we support admission policy, language policy, we support 100%. We also want to talk about the issue of, there is an insertion that says any person who unlawfully and intentionally interrupt, disrupt, blah, blah, blah. We just want to get clarity. We are now in a fashion where even the school governing bodies will go and barricade the school. We want to check if indeed the SGBs are also part of any person. We want to talk about selling of liquor in a school premises. Whether there is a court order or what, we don't want selling of liquor in a school premises. Whether it's a donation, is there only items that are sold are the only liquors? If we want to do donations, so let's allow schools to sell other except liquor or drugs. I believe you are hearing us, because otherwise this section is not for compliance. As long as there is also second round.
Yeah, thanks, Chairperson. I remain Kamanyane Risimate Abel, a teacher, a member of SATU, and a leader of SATU. We are not allergic to this bill because it has good intentions. We are in support of this Bela bill. However, there are areas where we feel uncomfortable as educators. One, there is this definition of corporal punishment. I'm not repeating, we're in a public participation. There is this definition of corporal punishment. In its current form, as proposed, it is problematic. The forcing part. Remember, it has been said that if you force learners, blah, 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 it's an act of misconduct. At times, as educators, we are forced, because we are teaching in overcrowded classes, we are forced to make learners sit uncomfortable because of lack of space and furniture, because we have not been supplied by furniture. Schools were not built, in classrooms were not built. So in its current form, the definition says that is misconduct. We are also offering physical education lessons at our schools for marks to pass these learners. Some learners intentionally refuse to participate without valid reasons. And we force them to participate so that we have marks to record for progression purposes. Remember, forcing is now viewed as misconduct. Will they pass without marks? We are also saying no to fundraising by selling liquor. We don't want liquor. The clauses that I have just spoken to us, they are camouflaging as misconductness, ready to pounce on us as educators. And they must be scrapped or reviewed. So we submit, Chairperson.
Thank you, Chairperson. I am Ndizula Pisal Finamraudzi, deployed here by African National Congress. I support the Bela bill, which seeks to enhance the organization efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership and accountability, transforming education service and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. The draft amendment bill proposes to amend the South African School Act 1996, Act number 84 of 1996, and the Employment of Educator Act number 1998, Act number 76 of 1998, the SASA and of 1998, the SASA and the EEA respectively. I support in particular Clause 2 of the Bill 6 to amend Section 3(1) of the SASA to provide that school attendance and compulsory from grade R and no longer only from grade 1, which will ensure all children are prepared for schooling. Clause 3 provides for the monitoring of school attendance by educators, principals, and school governing body in order to address the dropout rates. Clause number 5 of the Bill 6 to amend Section 6 of SASA to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy of the public school, and any amendment therefore to the head of department of approval of to ensure our school don't discriminate against other children on the basis of language. Clause number 7 seeks to amend Section 8 of SASA by providing in Clause 7A that not only any applicable provincial law, but also the Constitution of Republic of South Africa and the SASA must be considered when a public school adopts a code of conduct. Clause number 9 seeks to amend Section 9 of SASA by providing a list of acts of serious misconduct and to clarify what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. I support and submit the bill. Thank you.
I'm Ethan Patrick Mabada. I've gone through this, I support, but I have a message to the minister. Before I send a message, I will ask from the panel, how many of you or who is the highest person in profession, let's say he is a professor who can do a stick of minches? If there's no one, which means I don't support this type of curriculum. Mugabe once said, how can you motivate your kid to go to school, whereas graduates, they are lingering in the street, while criminals are getting richer and richer every day. Ndidoamba nga Chivenda. Bako pasi savana owana percent ya 30. What does it mean? Mutu ufuna jina chikoro ane aburu uko kono wana more than 70%. Ndiene mutu ote eo jina chikoro. The rest bato kono mwada bugu. Katu aya uta usore. Katu uta bulimi. Katu aya uta even a toy. We need that type of education, but this curriculum doesn't help our kids. Because if he drop out, he's lingering in the street, it can't help. We get rid of this, the so-called job. Everybody must work for himself. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, I will speak in Chivenda. For those, you are allowing children to pass in 30%. But for those who are passing in 70%, they are the ones who are supposed to go to school. Those who are passing with 30, they should go in farming. They should go to make toys or manufacture toys.
Na cancer. Allow me to speak Xitsonga. Mina dona tinyiko xilenge ni nga hi mahala emahlweni kusuka ka masipala wa hina lowa kahle wa College Chavani local municipality. Viva ANC, viva! Viva African National Congress, viva! Phambili African National Congress, phambili! Phambili, phambili! Allow me to speak, people. Ni mahala ni mahlweni ka n'wina ku ta sapota bill leyiwani yi nga kona haleni hina hi ri vandla ra African National Congress ha yi sapota bill leyi. Lexi ni xi lavaka ni lava timhaka ta ku ri a ku ve eswikolweni swa hina xikarhi ka principal and na SGB a hi ve na ti-SGB leti vonaka leti kota ku tsala leti kota ku hlaya ku endlela timhaka ta ku ri mali yi nga koti ku va yiviwa hi ku olova. Another thing ma thola ku na leswa swa ti-general assistant teacher na leswa swa ti-general worker. Ku na problem loko swi fika laha timhaka ta ku ri vana vo tala va tshama va kha va vuyelela a ni tivi system leyi yi nga va yi kha yi tirha njhani. A swi endleki ku ri loko munhu mi swi tiva ku i tirhini somewhere and then loko fika ku fanele ku apply futhi mi rejecta inani ya yena na xikombelo xa yena na. Inkomo. Viva African National Congress, viva! Viva African National Congress, viva! Phambili African National Congress, phambili!
I'm Donald Shilenge from the Collins Chavani municipality, and I'm also here in representation of the African National Congress. Here are the points. What I need is that the department should make sure that school governing bodies and principals should be people who hold these positions should be literate enough to avoid theft that we are experiencing in our schools. Secondly is the general assistant teacher, the assistant teachers and the general workers. Please make sure that you have strict control on the candidates because most of them keep repeating coming back to the same school, and that clogs the queue for other candidates who would have gotten the opportunities. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Boderi Burupero. I'm here to support the Bela bill. I'm supporting the Bela bill because it seeks to enhance the organization efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership, accountability, transforming education service, and protecting the vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access of learning. The draft amendment bill proposed to amend the South African School Act 1996, Act number 84 of 1996, and the Implement of Educators Act 1998, Act number 76 of 98, the SASA and the EE respectively. I support all the clauses of the Bela bill because it addresses the following problem: deteriorating learner school performance, dropping out and misconduct in the school, challenges regarding learners' access to quality basic education, as some schools deny learners admission, malicious abuse of school governing body authority to stifle transformation, uncertainty pertaining to home education legislature. However, I support in particular clause 2 of the bill seeks to amend section 3.1 of the SASA to provide that the school attendance is compulsory from grade R and no longer only from grade 1, which will ensure all children are prepared to schooling. Clause 3 provide for the monitoring of school attendance by educators, principal, and school governing body in order to address the dropout rate. And further, clause 5 of the bill seeks to amend section 6 of the SASA to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy of the public school. And an amendment, therefore, to the head of department for approval to ensure the school didn't discriminate against other learners on the basis of language. However, there is clause 7 which seeks to amend section 8 of the SASA by providing in clause 7A that not only applicable provincial law, but also the constitution of the RSA and the SASA must be considered when a public school adopt a code of conduct. The last one is clause 9, which seeks to amend section 9 of the SASA by providing a list of acts of serious misconduct and to clarify the constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. Chairperson, I support the amendment of the Bela bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I am Murauzindi Wanyi, deployed by African National Congress, do hereby supporting the Bela bill, which seeks to enhance the organizational efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership, and accountability, transforming education services and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. I do really support the Bela bill in particular. Clause 2 of bill seeks to amend section 3.1 of SASA to provide the school attendance in compulsory from grade R and no longer only from grade 1, which will ensure all children to prepared for schooling. Clause 3 provides for the monitoring of school attendance by educators, principals, and the school governing body in order to address the dropout rate. Clause 5 of the bill seeks to amend section of 6 of SASA to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy of a public school and any amendment thereof to the head of department for approval to ensure amended to ensure school don't discriminate against other learners in the basic of language. Clause 7 seeks to amend section 8 of SASA by providing in clause 7A that not only applicable provincial law, but also the Constitution of Republic of South Africa and the SASA must be considered when a public school adopts the code of conduct. In conclusion, Chairperson, clause 9 seeks to amend section 9 of SASA by providing a list of acts of serious misconduct and clarify what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. By such, Chairperson, I thank you and I submit.
Here, whether you have consulted your academic fraternity, what was the other one? I think it's only that one, eh? That needed a clarity. Or the issue of the HODs, if there are claims made by SGB, whether they must approve or, I think you got that too. And then to the community, there are forms like these for people who don't feel comfortable to speak. There are two officials there at the end. You can make your submission there and then it's gonna be recorded. So you can make still your submission without speaking. I mean, not all of us like to speak when there are many people. So those who don't feel like speaking, they can still make their submissions on these forms, and then we are going to record them as we do the whatever it is. Can I note hands again, starting from this side? 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. Can I note from this side, as you are going to be sitting, but just for noting purposes so that you know, 1, 2, 3. Did you not speak, Baba? Yes, now, Mama, round 2, yeah. It's 1 round, you must lala after that. 3, 4, 5.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson, and good afternoon. Good afternoon to the Honorable Chairperson, honorable members, officials from Parliament and the Department of Basic Education, and of course our community leaders and leaders of SATU and the community at large. My task is to respond to some of the questions that have been raised. One of them being whether the drafting of the bill was informed by academia. Indeed it was. Professor Gustafsson, Mary Metcalf, and many other academics were involved in the drafting of the bill. With regards to the issue of corporal punishment, I think that we need to place the definition in context. So when we talk about exercising and you know, the fact that we have physical education as a subject, now can a subject like physical education be considered as corporal punishment? No, I don't think so. I think what we mean here is where a teacher would say to a learner, in order, you know, maybe the learner was misbehaving, and in order to bring the learner back in line to say, do 10 push-ups or sit-ups or something of that kind. That's the context of the corporal punishment. With regards to the pulling and pushing and the context given by many speakers to break up fights, etc., I think that is different from actual corporal punishment. Corporal punishment is where a teacher would push or pull a learner as a punishment, you know, if the child has done something wrong. So I think we must understand that in terms of the context. However, I must, you know, submit that we will relook at the definition in order to, you know, ensure that it is not vague, but that it provides certainty in law. With regards to the claims by the HODs, whether they need to approve that, no. The general management and running of a school will be left to the SGBs and the principal. Here we are talking about special benefits that a teacher may want to be given by maybe the SGB or you know, any other a person, and that's what we're talking about. You know, where in some schools a principal is given a trip, a cruise around the world. I mean, I've seen that, you know, in some of the schools. Or you buy the principal or a teacher a car or whatever. Those are the special benefits we are speaking to that will require to be, you know, the HOD to be informed. But the general management and running of the school with regards to claims, etc., that is not being amended, and that status quo will remain. I think those were the few questions that I needed to respond to. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. mine is on admission policy, admission of illegal foreigners. They say South Africa belongs to all who live in it. My name? Oh, my name is Owen Mukari. I'm from Africa. I represent Hlanganani North. I'm on the admission policy, admission of illegal foreigners. They say South Africa belongs to all who live in it. Admitting illegal foreigners, it's permitted into public school, but are not exempted to norms and standard and nutrition. Therefore, norms and standard funds are used to buy stationery, tissues, sports, art and culture, and other school activities. Therefore, should illegal learners bring to school their own electricity? Should they bring their own tissues? Should they bring their own funds to participate in sports, art and culture? Should they also bring along their food parcels, whereas there is food parcels in schools? Are we not, what are we teaching our learners? Are we not teaching our learners discrimination? Are we not teaching our learners greediness? I therefore submit that all learners should be treated equally and the same. Therefore, illegal foreigners should be treated like South African learners. Number two, reading is a problem in our country. These amendment bills, they talk nothing or they speak nothing about poor performance. And our poor performance comes from reading. I therefore propose that reading should be regarded as a subject, not as part of a subject, but should be a subject in all home languages and English first additional languages. As I pose, can the Department of Education provide two immediate or contemporary disciplinary measures that a teacher can use in a classroom against a learner who is disturbing the class, for the teacher to enable to continue or to proceed with the lesson as I present? Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm Councillor Neshibe Azangusi Anna. Do support the Bela bill, which seeks to enhance the organizational efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership, and accountability, transforming education services, and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. The draft amendment bill proposed to amend the South African School Act 1996, Act number 84 of 1996, and the Employment of Educators Act 1998, Act number 76 of 1998, the SASA and the EEA respectively. In the ANC 54th National Conference, the ANC recognized that having achieved the commendable target pertaining to access, redress, and equity, the ANC must further ensure that there is a strategic alignment and positioning of the basic education sector by prioritizing policies and strategies targeting the achievement of quality teaching and learning outcomes, enhancing the skills and competencies of educators, including the school management team, comprising the school principal, deputy principal, and subject head, and enhancing accountability system to ensure the achievement of quality outcomes and efficiency in the basic education sector. I support all the clause in the Bela bill because it will address problem amongst other to address deteriorating the learner school performance, dropping out, and misconduct in school, and challenges regarding learners' access to quality basic education, as some schools deny learners admission, malicious abuse of governing body, authority, and stifle transformation, uncertainty pertaining to home education legislation. I support in particular Clause 2 of the bill seeks to amend Section 3, Section 1 of the SASA to provide that school attendance is compulsory from grade R and no longer only from grade 1, in which ensure all children are prepared for schooling. Clause number 3, provide for the monitoring of school attendance by educators, principal and school governing body in order to address the dropout rate. In clause number 5 of the bill 6 to amend section 6 of the SASA to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy of the public school and any amendment thereof to the head of department for approval to ensure school don't discriminate against other.
Xo sungula ni rhandza ku xeweta eka mufambisi wa ntirho wa siku ra namuntlha xikan'we na khabinete ya n'wina. Mina ni vulavulaka haleno hi mina Makwarela ni kha ni huma ka Early Childhood Development Avembe District. Ni rhumiwile hi komiti ya Avembe kutani ta va yimela na ku tisa swirilo leswi va nga na swona. Hi zamile ku pfula bili ya n'wina from page 1 up to last page. Ai ku kona la hi nga vona mitsarili grade RR. Since 2019, mi kha mi vulavula timhaka ta shifting from DSD to education. Ina impela this year swi endlekile. Ai ti byela ku ri loko hi pfula this bill hi ta kuma hi ri kona and then hi tsariwile na ku va hi kombiwile leswaku loko hi ri na swirilo hi swi yisa ka mani. Hi vona timinister timbirhi lava nga foundation va nga Mani Angie na higher education va nga Zimandi. Mara wa ECD i mani loyi nga ta ku loko budget mi ri kwale ka parliament mi fane ku avanyisa budget mi avanyisa mi kha mi tiva ku ri ku na munhu loyi a nga imela ECD Early Childhood Development loyi a faneke ku va a receive budget ya ECD loyi a nga ta va a kha a tiva swirilo leswi hina hi nga na swona. U nga ku loko mi kha mi endla swilo leswi a mi le ku languteni leswaku i vo mani mindzuku va nga ta va tshami ka switulu sweswo mi nga ka swona loko mi nga sunguli foundation ya kahle. Nga ku hina va ECD swi ta fana na lembe rero mi nga teka timali ta hina ti fambisa van'wani ti va yisa eswikolweni hina hi sala hi kha hi struggle na vana. A hi kombela leswaku loko mi ya mi yo tshama langutisani lava va nga ta va vo minister va mindzuku loko vo n'wina mi chika eswitulwini. I'm here to submit.
My name is Makwarela. I represent ECD from the Vembe district. My name is Makwarela. I represent ECD, Early Childhood Development from the Vembe district. I have been sent by the committee to present their grievances and concerns that they have generally. We have read the bill from the beginning to the end. There isn't anywhere where it touches on the grade RR. Since 2019, there have been a number of programs to move the ECD to DSD. But since then, we have noted that there are two ministers that are responsible for the departments, being the Basic Education Department and the Department of Higher Education, Minister Enjimutsega and Dr. Blaine Zimande. But there isn't any indication as to who is responsible for ECD, who is responsible for our budgets, and who should we go to when we have issues around our budgets to be able to get responses. We think that you are not considering us as a sector, the ECD. It's as if the situation will be a repeat of what we saw in the past, where our monies were taken to take other people to school while we remained in our areas working. And we believe that you should be considering those that in the future will be sitting in the chairs that you are sitting in. Thank you.
No, thanks, Chairperson. I've got two things to submit here. One, under section 41, where it is indicated that my name is Chauke and be the principal of a school in the Malamlel area. And then my submission one in section 41, it says that learner pregnancy has to be managed. So what I want to check here is that a poor principal and his staff, how best can we manage the pregnancy without any cost of midwifery? Because it's a risk. I want that we be assisted so that tomorrow there will be no warrant of arrest if anything happens. That's my submission. Number two, I was reading in terms of the minimum norms and standard. And then we submit budgets for approval to circuit offices. But we happen to be interrupted or deviate from the budget. And it is not allowed. But it happens to say from the department where you indicate that pay EAs from the norms and standard. Because the department has hired these people without giving us money on time. So want to know, to say, how do you give us opportunity to hire on behalf of the department where the money is not there? If there is a projected budget, then we must know, so that tomorrow those people must not toy on us. I submit. Thanks.
Good afternoon, honorable members. My name is Mahlangu Mabena, a teacher from a special school or one of the best performing special school in the province, a leader and a labor unionist. I've got two submissions. One submission will be based on insertions on section 3. The other one will be on section number 1. On section 3, when I read the insertions or the amendment, what I established is that there is no insertion or provision that talks to learners with disabilities, majority of whom attend school very late because their parents keep them at home due to their disability. So our submission in this regard is that there be an insertion in this Bela bill that will respond or complement inclusive education policy, particularly the white paper 6. On the other section, section 1, we are submitting that there be an insertion on corporal punishment that will cause the department to provide an alternative to corporal punishment guidelines, like they did when they banned corporal punishment. There is a document titled Alternative to Corporal Punishment. So we want the bill to have an amendment or an insertion that will cause this very department to provide the poor teachers with alternative to corporal punishment. Thank you, Chairperson. I submit.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon to the panel. My name is Henny Kombrink. I am a parent. I am an SGB member. I'm also the provincial manager for the Federation of School Governing Bodies in Limpopo. From FETSA's side, there are a few amendments we don't agree with and a few we do. We don't agree with disclosure of financial interests by members, which will entail a yearly disclosure of financial interests of a governing body member, but also his spouse and close relatives. We do believe that is a bit harsh and also will deter members from putting themselves available to serve on the governing bodies. Then further, as far as language policy and admission policy is concerned, we don't believe that the final authority and power should vest in the HOD, as the constitution of our country and also the South African Schools Act envisages a cooperative management relationship, and SGBs are partners in this relationship. We are not just stakeholders, but we are partners. So we feel that that will undermine the relationship. And then the SGB's power concerning procurement, which entails that the HOD will have the authority to centrally procure LTSM. Our experience is that the LTSM is not timeously distributed, and also the quality of LTSM isn't what it needs to be. Therefore, the HOD can also revoke the Section 21C functions of schools unilaterally without any due process. So we believe that is necessary. And then also we don't support providing quarterly reports on all income and expenses, which will put unnecessary strain on the infrastructure and administration of schools, because schools already submit yearly reports, financial statements which are audited. We do support grade R being compulsory, uniform national measures governing the election of members of the governing body, then the criminalization of providing of false information. We support that, and we might just also say something which is excluded in the bill, where people are proposed for expulsion, and then within 14 days we don't hear back from the HOD, and that person must go back to school, which will also actually, and it does now happen, which infringes on the rights of the pupil currently at school that might have been under that person's bullying and so forth. So we believe an amendment must be that if we don't hear back from the department within 14 days, a learner may be expelled. With that, I thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Quindama Faneza Richard from Democratic Alliance. I don't support the bill by the following reasons. As you said that you want to add the kids to start at R. Now we have got a problem at schools, different schools in South Africa, especially in the rural areas. Then are those kids going to school to play or to be educated? If they are going to play, yes, of course, there is no problem. Because in our schools, we don't have infrastructures. In our schools, we don't have teachers. I don't know whether the Department of Education, are they influencing people to learn through the teaching professions, or is there anything that make people of South Africa to depart from teaching profession? Because if you can see now, the department have employed assistant teachers. They shows us that there is a problems in the teaching systems. So let us fix the teaching system first, then we can implement other things, then it will be all right. Then in the case of disciplinary, it seems as kids are protected highly than the teachers who are teaching them the direction to go to get something. Because if you can see today's, even if I'm standing here, class teachers are burned out by the kids. They are being stabbed by the kids, but the department, they don't do anything. They are protecting our kids, and our kids are going in a wrong direction. Teachers are the directors. They must direct our kids to the right direction, not to the wrong direction. Of course, they must be protected, our kids, but protected in a limited way, not to be protected than to be given education. Then if you said that, no, thank you. Let me stop here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair. I'll Garabampet St. Johannes, deployed by African National Congress, support the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill, which seeks to enhance the organizational efficiency of the basic education system to improve school governance, leadership, and accountability, transforming education services, and protecting vulnerable groups to ensure learner well-being and access to learning. I support all the clauses in the Basic Education Laws Amendment Bill because it will address problems against others to address deteriorating learner school performance, dropping out and misconduct in schools, and the challenges regarding learner access to quality basic education, as some schools deny learners admission. Malaysia's abuse of school governing body authority to stifle transformation, uncertainty pertaining to home education legislation. I support in particular Clause 2 of the Bill 6 to amend Section 3 in brackets 1 of the South African School Act to provide that school attendance in compulsory from grade R and no longer only from grade 1, which will ensure all children are prepared for schooling. Clause 3 provides for the monitoring of school attendance by educators, principals, and the school governing body in order to address the dropout rate. Clause 5 of the Bill 6 to attend Section 6 of the South African School Act to provide for the governing body to submit the language policy of public school and any amendment thereof to the head of the department for approval to ensure our schools don't discriminate against other learners on the basis of language. Clause 7, 6 to amend Section 8 of the South African Schools Act by providing in Clause 7, brackets A, that not only any applicable provincial law, but also the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa and the South African School Act must be considered when a public school adopts a code of conduct. Clause 9 seeks to amend Section 9 of the South African Schools Act by providing a list of acts of serious misconduct and to clarify what constitutes an act of serious misconduct by learners. Thank you. I submit.
Thank you very much. The committee, I, Libuani Ramhobi, deployed by African National Congress Women's League, ndoima hapa namusi, ndichiko utendelana, kana ndiko supporta zvine I'm not going to repeat, because the first speaker from African National Congress was loud and clear. I am going to speak my language. Muraidzana ndakotoya usendai. Uba ukoya zvihuru ka community vabebi wadova fu wateo techelesiwa nga committee. Vabebi arali ndanga ṱuwa ndi songo amba hezwi ndi ḓovha ndi songo ita justice. Government is trying. The reason I'm saying I'm in support with Bela Bill is because many years ago, our kids normally used to suffer. But government kana Bela Bill yatakuchedza uri ikono thusa muthu mwana mungu. But huna zvimwe zvine azvinga zvadzudzanya na luthihi. African National Congress is a ruling party. And we don't support corruption. I was sent to say that. Why I'm saying that? If the government is buying the grocery, zviḽiwa zva u bikela vana tshikoloni, and every day the community who are assisting to cook food for those kids, you are taking 1 liter of milk every day, a fish oil, That's corruption. African National Congress, we don't support corruption. We are assisting, or they are assisting, poor of the poorest and the country as a whole. So, arali ba mubebi, vo humbeliwa uri kha vha yo thusa u bikela vhana, vha songo dzhia na tshithu na tshithihi. And it takes the whole village to raise a child. So, ari thusane. We can be in different parties, but ANC is the ruling party, trying by all means. They were the party. What are you doing to assist the African National Congress except pointing fingers? So let's go home and try to assist so that we can raise our kids. I'm going to leave it here. Thank you very much.
I stand here today. I won't repeat what the former speaker have said from the ANC because he said a mouthful. My message goes to parents and those committees that serve in our school. ANC doesn't support corruption, and if you are a parent and you are asked to go to serve in a school and you have to cook for the learners, don't take anything because we don't support corruption. I thank you.
Thank you so much. My name is Greatstone. My surname is Mudimeli. First of all, I'm not a teacher. I'm just a parent, the father of someone. So, as I'm here, you can see my t-shirt, it represents me where I come from. And I'm not shy to be a part of DA, and I'm very glad. Another thing that I can tell you, I was feel ashamed by the amendment that you did on the document. I was very, very shy. You can't allow alcohol to be sold in the school. Whereas me as a parent, I'm teaching my child not to drink alcohol. I open the Bible every day to read for my child. To show my child a way. And I believe that both of you who are seated here, earning money from the government, if your child, every day, he or she is coming, being drunk in your house, you are not going to be happy. But here you come, you said, we must allow alcohol at school. Oh, shame. I don't know where you are taking South Africa from. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm not a teacher, as I told you. The second thing that I wanted to say, previously here, even now it's happening. People are coming to our school and steal our children and sell it somewhere. You guys, you are seated here. We are talking about the school which doesn't have a yard. First of all, a yard. A criminal can just come from anywhere and steal our children. You are not talking about that, you are talking about alcohol today. Again, you are allowing a pregnant woman to come to school. Are you going to employ even the nurses to come and take care for that person? Because the teachers whom you employ, you didn't employ them. They are not from the Department of Health. They are from the Department of Education. Which means now you are telling us that you are going to take even the nurses to come to school. That's why I said I feel ashamed for you. Please, don't waste our text for sitting there not thinking for our children, when you are thinking for selfish only. Me, I was angry for these things. There are many, some parents now, they are looking for their children. You have said the time is off, or else it's not. Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm Russell Maluleke, deployed by the African National Congress. I'm for the bill with the incision by SATU on the alternative to corporal punishment, because those measures that teachers used to employ to deal with discipline has now been taken away from themselves. Like the retention of learners when they have done wrong after school, that is no longer there. Therefore, the bill must provide alternative to the corporal punishment so that they will be able to work smoothly at their respective schools. Thank you.
Can I start this side to note hands? 1, 2. Can I go this side? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 at the back, or this side now. Yes. No, 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 no. Did you not speak? The last one that I noted. Oh, it's not him, Mantepsa. It's not him.
Can I start? Okay. Thank you very much, Program Director. I want to draw the attention of the House or the Hall to page 12, amendment of Section 8A of Act 84 of 96. But my name is, I was coming. My name is Maurice Matebula. I'm a principal of a school. I'm the regional treasurer of Vembe region. My leader is the Comrade Roni. I bow down in your order. Thank you very much, Program Director, once more. I want to draw the attention of the House to page 12. I see a contradiction. If we look at Section A, Roman figure 2, it says the governing body of a public school may, upon receipt of an application from any person and in consultation with the head of department, permit the possession, consumption, or sale of liquor during any private or religious function held on the school's premises, provided that such possession, consumption, or sale may not take place during school hours. You can interpret may not take place during school hours, which means after school hours, that activity can take place. And obviously, if it's school hours, learners can definitely go and binge it themselves. But here is the contradiction. On page 13, section D, look, under 6, if the police cannot collect liquor, dangerous object, or illegal drug from the school immediately, the principal or his or her delegate must take the liquor, dangerous object, or illegal drug to the nearest police station. Let's go to F, then I conclude. F, 8, the principal or his or delegate may at random administer urine or other non-invasive test to any learner or group of learners that is on fair and reasonable grounds suspected of using liquor or blah, 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 blah. There is the contradiction. If liquor can be sold after school hours, was a Friday, it's Friday today, tomorrow is Saturday, Sunday comes. Learners can have access to liquor. You expect a principal to search a learner for liquor or for the use of drugs. And again, to do a urine test. I think there's a contradiction. Can you look into it very seriously? Because you can't expect the principal to conduct a urine test. Meanwhile, the permission has been given. As long as it is after working school hours, then it means learners can have access to liquor as long as it's after school hours. Friday after school hours, Saturday, Sunday, blah, 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 blah. So I submit.
Nimatabama. Nenga zinandiphi azindini Grace mulawo zindiva amashamba. Mbilele yanga ke. Ndiya uri ndi murado SGB kachimwe chikolane nge amashamba chinofi matanzi. Ndichibona busiwana bune atangana nasho. Ndipfa ndichipfa butungu. Na ubona zwine vadededzi vashe ravafarisa zvone rine vabhebhi vavana. Vadededzi vashe vakotambura ngori rine rikolilela ziraiti dzavana zori vana avarwiwi avaitiwi mini. Ngeno vana vachikobhula vana ngango muchikoloni. Principal na HOD na SGB vaona vasichana manda uri vapirele ani panda. Uchiva na problem yori mwana thamwe wa committee society ngantano uri otangana nazvo atangana nazvo chikoloni. Uvonya gaya rine uri ridove ripindule. Ngeno risina manda. Auri ringa kono ulanga avala vana ngori ardivi uri rivalangise hani ngori nawone muvuso wo rifara zvanḓa. Nda ndichikori thamwe muvuso uchikada katandululo yori alusisa hani vana vasho no vagudisa madipfarele arali huna uri rine ndichikaiza mwana ndivonala ndichikomuvaisa ende nne ndichikomuva ene asavaisiwi ngane ene ukopirela panda eovaisa mumwe mwana zvine zvava zvirongo ndikori muvuso autuwe uye uri ambele hanenge nṱha rikono uzvipesa uri riitisa hani musi oita chiwo choralo.
I am Azundini Grace from Amashamba. I am here to raise some concerns. In terms of educators or teachers, their powers to discipline the pupils have been stripped away, and now it becomes a challenge on how they should discipline the pupils. And in any situation, what will happen if I do not have power at home, and then my child goes to school to disturb other children there again? So I will ask that government intervene in this, and we ask you to deal with that. And because at the same time, if anything happens at the school, we are the ones who have to be accountable, but we do not have power to deal with such matters. So I humbly request that you look into these things. Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to humble myself and greet all of you. And secondly, I am a president at Marimane High School. My name is Katekanja Woge. Like, I have a question for you as the Department of Education. Before writing the law of that, you are giving the principal the right to sell alcohol at the school premises after school hours. Have you ever thought as a parent? What? Like here, like 99.9% of parents are busy telling their children to stop smoking, to stop drinking. But here you are, fighting with the parents to sell alcohol at school. But the thing that doesn't surprise me, you guys broke our democracy long time ago. We do not have a democracy as the South Africans because the department do not look back as a parent, they only look as a worker. But let me tell you something, I'm not only standing here as a student, but as a child to as someone's child, if I understand me, sorry for that. But I have a brother who my mom is always fighting with about alcohol, about smoking. But today, I understand that it's not his fault. The moment you guys gave us the right that children should not be harmed, children have a right to say no to everything, you broke a mother's law. You broke a mother's rule over her child. Now she's giving birth for the public. Now she's giving birth to someone who dared to tell her that the way when a mother find a child dating, she's gonna be like, what are you doing? Focus on your studies. But the child will reply and say, this is how you used to behave in your old age. Because now he or he have the right to reply back to our mothers. You, the moment you gave us the right, and now you are giving the teachers to sell alcohol, can I really ask you a question? Do you really know what is the word of education? Do you promise us or guarantee us to give us jobs without a grade 12? Do you really promise us I can be a heart surgeon without a grade 12? If you do, we will all agree honestly to give you our votes so that you proceed with the law. But right now, if you do not guarantee that I can become a heart surgeon, other the generation can have jobs without a grade 12, that is a joke. You are making a mockery out of South Africa. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I am Hangwelani Mafeda. I'm here to support all the clauses in this Bela bill. But I have a question. I have a question here on the corporal punishment. I understand all that you have written here, but my question is that, do you have any plan for the for the teachers to discipline a student in the class while the student is misbehaving? Do you have any plan to give to the teachers so that they can be safe in the class? Because other students are coming to the class with the motive of disturbing the whole class, so that maybe the teacher will confront him or her. So for him or her to do what is coming for the class, not for to be taught. So that's my question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm Pastor Jimmy Fenter, and I'm a SGB chairperson speaking on behalf of the SGBs, especially for Messina Primary. Thank you for the opportunity. I can clearly see that there's a big difference between the politicians here and also the educators, because the politicians will accept the bill with no questions, but the educators, there are some of the things that I have concerns about. I'm not opposed to all of the sections that is proposed, but some of them. The first one, admissions. HOD have the final say. I can't support that because I'm sitting with admissions where parents is confronting us about spaces in school and we can't answer them. So how will they be able to get to the HOD for answers? Then the second one, school capacity must be determined. Well, the proposed amendment is that only 1 square meter will be given per student. I think it's not rational nor fair to the learners who don't have enough space to be educated. Then the language, not supported. SGB was accountable partner for the last 26 and more years, and they had a say in the language. Now they want to take it away from the SGB members, where they can't have any say
regarding to the language that has been chosen for the school.
Then the language, not supported. SGB was accountable partner for the last 26 and more years, and they had a say in the language. Now they want to take it away from the SGB members, where they can't have any say regarding to the language that has been chosen for the school. Then further, section 9 and section 10 about discipline. I agree with the principle relating to the prohibition of corporal punishment, but not enough is done in regards to the rights of the educator and the silent majority of learners in school versus the right of the perpetrators who are guilty of serious misconduct. Section 18A, disclosure of all financial interests by HGB members. Believe it will fall foul in terms of the Popeye Act, and it is impossible to accurately verify the statements of more than 200,000 SGB members. Section 20, the utilization of school facilities. It is not acceptable that in principle the local district office may be allowed to control the utilization of school facilities. Then section 21(3)(a), compulsory centralization procurement. I do not support this. The centralization procurement of PPE during COVID-19 period was a graphical illustrated of the dangers of centralization. I do support the fact that we need to, you see, that is when you have 3 minutes. No unfair discrimination on basis of race, gender, or any arbitrary grounds. School facilities must be utilized fairly and educationally accountable.
Thank you, Chair. As a member of the Democratic Alliance, we do not support the bill. The DA has following concern with the bill. Number 1, Mato Bondi was Cedric. Number 1, homeschooling. The department did not gather enough information from the homeschooling sector before writing regulation for it. The Bela bill regulation will not ensure quality education through homeschooling and engulfs the unique challenge of this sector. Number 2, online and blended learning. The Bela bill does not regulate online and blended billing. Since the COVID lockdown, this type of learning has become popular and should have been included. Number 3, sexual abuse in school. The Bela bill failed to provide enough protection for the learners that have to attend disciplinary hearing in the case of sexual abuse case. These learners are often victims of adult sexual abuse. The Bela bill will rob community of their constitutional right to be involved and make decisions pertaining to their children's education. This must not be allowed. Thank you.
Ndoribu andifi lekaba mashudu Samuel. Ndiko da pandichikwanedzana na bili inoni rasizana nayo namusi ndichikotoma kamusi ngosumbisa uri apanoni ndidwa mangamanda zvinezvo apa sikuita une ndaba ndikowanira hone ngori atiwaniri dhorobhoni nne ndichikoriri yavana taidzo yawo uleka matichere zvine zviri svikisa kauri chimwe chipinga namusi uchitiwa zvitu kana uchikofunzwa vana zvitu zvisapedze zvopera ngachipinga natsikilasi iri murawana uri nadzone dziko shota vazvipfesesa uri arari kamusi kilasi muri dziko shota uri mutu waconcentrate ni overcrediting ango mukilasini azvingotoleluwa zviyambori vone vatozvimbura zvori mutu vakobva mabhiko ndi mwana wachikoro kamusiri 51 kana ri 50 azvingotoleluwa ngotoralo zviyamba zvori hutiwengedzwa dzikilasi navatichere chimwe chipinga iyi vadowana uri mutu ukwaya pencheni ndi mutu waSGB hezvo yachikwaya pencheni uri ade ajeneriwa nga mumwe mutu kana areplacewe azvingoleluwa kamwe acho wapfunzo zvikokonda ngamanda udowana chikodanga mura chipinga cherafunga manda zvembori chikara chawe chiva chikosalira murau hoyo mutu ari asingoresiplace wongotapanyisa zvino ndova ndichikwambori ndoridwa manga unene ndabvera hone ngangenoni tungo dza rural area zvine zviyamba zvori rikudhivana vatu navana vachikoro vanokudhiya katolete dzamadhindi zwine na zwone ri nga si tu supporta ngo to ralo ngori vha zwi vhona zwori vhana vha khou wela madindini huna dzi thaidzo nnzhi dzone dza vha hone zwiṅwe kha musi zwine ndi nga zwi amba ndi sa ṱuṱuwa ndi zwa uri ndi soko vhona zwiṅwe zwikolo hu na ma-security nṋe uya nga nṋe nda tshi humbela uri ma-security kha vhe hone zwikoloni zwoṱhe a zwi tou vha compulsory hezwo zwithu ngani ngauri ma-security a hone zwi a ḓi thusa nyana uri ḽiṅwe ḓuvha muthu ana wa khou ḓo ita vhugevhenga kana hu tshikoloni a nga vha ṅwana wa tshikolo a khou itela mudededzi kana muṅwe ṅwana wa tshikolo u ḓo pfha zwi songo leluwa mara ndi tshi sedza ndi khou vhona uri hu tou vha na zwiṅwe zwikolo zwine zwa vha na ma-security zwiṅwe a zwina mara vhathu vha khou ḓi ṱhavhiwa hu daiwa dzimbadzhe zwine nda ndi khou pfhesesa uri a ri ite hezwi zwithu nga nḓila ya vhudele lune zwikolo zwoṱhe zwi sale zwi khou khavarea nga nḓila yavhuḓi hu sa vhe na zwithu zwine zwa vha ro dzula yani ra pfha ri tshi nga ri nga ḓa ra ima getini ḽa tshikolo ra linda vhana vhashu ndo livhuwa.
I am Likava Mashudu Samuel. I hereby oppose the bill today. I will cite example from where I come from because I don't come from urban areas. There is a lot of challenges. Amongst them is lack of teachers in our schools, lack of classrooms, overcrowding in schools, which imagine when you are sweating and you are a lot of learners inside the classroom. And then replacements not done in time for those that are going to retirement, which leaves our school lagging behind in curriculum and a lot of backlog. Pit toilets, which has a lot of risk for learners that fall inside those pit toilets. Lack of security in some of our schools, which poses danger to both learners and teachers, wherein you realize that still today, some people and some learners and teachers are still getting stabbed in our schools, and it is not safe. Therefore, I don't support the bill.
No, I think I must say from our side as the portfolio committee, we have taken note of each and every hand that spoke. They have, you see, there are many of them. They have recorded all your concerns. They have recorded all your inputs. And we are going to, like I have mentioned earlier, that we are going to go to other provinces too. And then after we are done with the consolidation of all the inputs in all provinces, we are then going to make a report of course that will be in favor or not in favor of the bill. But it's a report that we are going to debate in Parliament. And then it's a report that is going to be voted for by members of Parliament. So I must say that there is still a long way, not so long, but a long way to go because this is the first province. And for people of SASA, Aikhule Sibasa, Aikhule. I'm going to ask my colleague here next to me to do a vote of thanks, Honorable Adonis.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson, honorable members of the Portfolio Committee, honorable members of the Legislature, members of different organizations represented here, NGOs, political parties, the leadership of the African National Congress that is amongst us, the community of Vembe District. We like to appreciate the warmth welcome that we received in this hot weather. It's hot in Venda. We came prepared that we are going to face such weathers, but we thank you very much for the participation of all the community members, the parents. SATU was here in numbers, FETSAS was also represented. As the chairperson has acknowledged your presence and participation in this process. We thank you very much, the department, also for responding to some of the burning issues that were raised in this session. We thank you, members of the staff of parliament that is with us, that will be carrying us all through this process. We thank you. We thank everyone that has been able to make it, even those ones that were outside, and we apologize for not providing enough space for everyone to be inside the hall. But also it's a learning curve for all of us, as the chairperson has indicated that this is our first session. So we also thank you so much that you did not leave, that you are not accommodated, you waited, and you're also given an opportunity to raise your views. We thank you very much. Young person, the student, your views are ahead. And thank you very much for representing the students and learners in Vembe. Akina Mantswe Makalo. Thank you very much for being here with us and also respecting this meeting. We're very thankful and really appreciate. Rinoleboha Botuba Lona Bamovenda. Thank you very much. Oh, one other thing, there are food parcels that are prepared for everyone outside. When they leave, they will collect those food parcels on their way out. Thank you very much.